Well, g'day, it's Jono Break here with the Forge Leader and another round of Monday Myth Check. And I'm going to keep following on this theme. It's the beginning of the year. I want to think about the whole planning piece and this whole idea of I've made my plans, so I'm good to go. Okay. Now, it's not the people who make the plans that end up being successful. It's the ones who consistently follow through that I find that are more successful in terms of achieving what they need to achieve. So let's have a look at this today. So if I just make some plans and go, okay, I'm good to go. I was just talking about this with a client this morning, this idea that I set some objectives and key results. Maybe I've got a vision for the year. Maybe I've got a vision for 3 years. But that's where it stops, right? So then we kind of have a feeling, particularly in smaller businesses, we kind of have a feeling if we're going in the right direction. We know the results maybe at a broad level that we want to get after, but there's no consistency. Okay, so one of the things is that if there is no consistency to your output, then you can find yourself in a place where all of a sudden you're just on the wrong track. Or, one of the other areas that can happen is that if you're not consistently taking account of your plans, looking at, I talk about fortnightly, monthly, and quarterly increments in terms of the cadences that you should check in on your plans. And if you're not doing that, then you don't know. And so it's kind of like reviewing someone at the end of the year after they've had a year of poor performance, right? How do you know? Or how do they even know? It's not really fair. And so it's really important that you think about these in cadences. The other thing too, if you don't pay attention to the rhythms and cadences, right, then you're not really paying attention to what's going on inside your business. Okay. So that's just a couple of things I want to think about. So what do we do about that? So one of the things that, and I've outlined this in my book, Unlocking Your Most Successful Year Yet, one of the things that we look at there is setting obviously we talk about purpose as well, but let's assume that's taken care of. Setting a successful outcome for 12 months, right? 1 year. And then saying, okay, so how do I break that down into objectives and key results? And then how do I get accountable to those results? We break them as far down. If you start to think about 12 months, you might be 3 to 5 years. But let's say we're just talking about this year's plan. So 12 months breaks down to quarterly outcomes, which have their own objectives and key results. And then I then even say, let's break it down into what I call fortnightly sprints. So in a typical quarter, every quarter, you're going to see at least 6 2-weekly sprints that are going to just really give you that sense of, okay, we're attacking it, we're getting after it. It's also going to help you because you're going to realize the things that maybe you've overshot or undershot. And so you can adjust as you go. In terms of the sprints, obviously the sprints are the things you want to achieve because you said we're going to get this done this quarter. That should be fairly manageable, but you may get to the end of the quarter and say, okay, some of these objectives or maybe some of these measurables, which are the key results, are a little bit far-fetched, okay? And we've got to adjust and adapt on the way. I've seen people do significant adjustments and I've seen people do minor adjustments. That's okay. The whole point is, the myth here is that I've set my plan, that's it. And I'm just going to roughly check in on it. Maybe I don't have it written down enough. I'd really encourage you to go and download my book, and it's free. You can join our community and even get accountable to that. If you want to talk about a coaching relationship where I can hold you accountable to that journey, as all of my clients are doing, I'm happy to discuss that with you. But it's really important that you define your journey, set your achievables, be aware of them and be able to change and flex them along the way. And obviously then adapt as you need to adapt and find someone that can hold you accountable to that. Really important. You can't just set a goal. You can't just set some outcomes and just assume at the end of the year you're going to achieve it. I'm Jono Break. This has been Monday Myth Check. As always, enjoy the journey.